I'm sat here with a very special guest. John, first of all, thank you very much for giving up your time this evening to come in person to this very special screening of Dear Albert. So I think it's important that we give some context to the film. I'm just going to tell us a little bit about it, a little bit about your journey, and indeed the projects you've got going forward. So, John Roberts, John, how are you? Have you had a good journey down? That's the main thing.
Yeah, we had a good journey here, and I just wanted to say, thank you everybody ever so much for making us feel so welcome this evening. It seems like an amazing venue. We've been talking to people, we've had some nice food, and it's just, it's really humbling for us to come, and I hope the film matches the expectations.
I'm sure it will, John. Let's just point out this film, 3 years in the making, is that right? Can you tell us a little bit about that journey that you went on?
Yeah, I mean, most documentaries you're looking at perhaps 12 weeks that a crew will come in and embed themselves with whatever they're doing. This was filmed actually over a 3.5 year period. So it really sort of captures some of the process of what we call recovery and the struggle of it, really. And it captures a little bit about what recovery is about and what treatment is about. And it also captures about that element of how one person struggling can be reaching out and helping another. And that's how we get well, and that's the kind of message Dear Albert is talking about here. And I'm really hoping everyone can sort of sit through the film, because I think it's the kind of film, if it was on telly, you might switch over halfway through, or you might put on the kettle or have a cup of tea or something. But if we are able as a collective experience to sort of sit our way through it, I think we'll all be the richer for it at the end. I think they're talking about maybe a little break halfway through. But if you can sort of engage with it, because the film works on lots of sort of different levels, the way Nick Hamer, the filmmaker, captures, some of it's quite subtle. But apparently it's a very hopeful film, and it covers lots of aspects around the recovery agenda, relapse prevention. It covers death from overdose. It covers reinventing self. It's about failure as a creative force. So there's lots of good stuff in there. You asked about one of our services, if you like. We run a programme called You Do the Maths, You Do the Mutual Aid Facilitation. It's starting here on October the 7th. And anyone really who's interested in stopping drug use and getting well and living a life beyond active drug or alcohol addiction, please come and join us. We haven't got all the answers, but we certainly, I can promise you'll get something from it. We can help. I can't promise how much, but we can definitely help to some extent.
Brilliant, John. I just want to sort of mention from a local perspective, because we're here in the middle of Melton Mowbray, you do have ties to Melton Mowbray, don't you?
Well, yeah. Back in the day, I did live in Melton for my sins for a couple of years, but that was quite a long time ago, at a time really for me when drug and alcohol taking wasn't a problem. And if anyone said to me at that point, "Oh, John, you've got to stop taking drink and drugs," so, I'd be saying, "Well, what are you saying that for? What's the problem? Why aren't you on drink and drugs?" I think it's very often only later on in a person's career, they call it, using career, that by the time it's a big problem, it's often too late to stop it on your own. And Dear Albert, working with Cans here, and Jane and Peter and Tina and some of the other people that have been responsible for putting on this event tonight, it's about, as I say, working. I can't get well on my own, but I can get well if I engage in positive relationships with other people.
John, everybody has a particular feeling about seeing themselves in video. It must be particularly poignant for you to see yourself on this life journey. How does it feel for you now to watch a film like this from that particular part of your life?
Well, a lot of it is just kind of memories, really. It's often described as quite an emotional film in places, and I feel that emotion, especially when I see my little boys Joe and Harry and my wife Sally. And it's especially poignant for me because I'm often working with people, and some of those ships have sailed. Some of the times with family, their drug and alcohol addiction has severed those ties. And I really feel sorry for those people, and I feel so lucky and blessed that I have still got a family, and a lot of my recovery is involved in family.
So we need to be very, very clear. This is what you do now. You do recovery now. So filmmaking isn't your kind of first string on your bow, is it? You've already mentioned Nick. So you're not looking to go for a big Hollywood role next or anything?
No, this is just nice and intimate and local, and us together is about as good as it gets. And it's not a Hollywood blockbuster, but it is quite a thoughtful story of how we recover from drink and drug use. That parallel between someone perhaps in longer term recovery, working closely with someone who's just struggling and entering that realm. I just should say as well that Ian, my colleague who works with Dear Albert, who's in the film, he's here this evening, and so is my colleague Mark, who's in the film. And we're here to talk and engage with people if they want to. So it's not just about me. I'm very lucky to be in it, but there's other people in it as well, and I think that's the message coming together and working.
I was just going to ask you about what messages you want your audience to go away with this evening.
Well, as I say, it's a film of hope primarily, although overdose and death are featured in it. So I like the idea of anyone who's good enough to sit through and watch the film to come away feeling a bit more hopeful if they've got a loved one that's struggling, to feel a bit more hopeful if they're struggling themselves, to have a better understanding of what addiction is, what treatment is, and what some ideas about the struggle people go through and how we try and resolve that struggle.
And there is help out there, isn't there, John?
That's another message. There may be a guy down the street selling something, but for every one of those geezers, there's two people willing to help. And there's definitely help out there. There's definitely help here upstairs. There's some amazing facilities, and again, part of the event this evening is to get people talking about all the amazing resources that are available here.
And we'll talk about the resources here. We've got the Me and My Learning Centre. We have to say a big thank you to them as well. And we have to say a big thank you to the Melton Learning Hub and the venue. Are you pleased with the turnout?
Woo! Not bad, Melton, so thank you very much.
Save the applause because it's going to be massive in a minute.
The real test is how many people are here at the end, to be honest. But we've got off to a good start. As I say, I think we're going to have a little break halfway through. So, I mean, that might be an excuse to go, but hopefully just have a comfort break, have a lovely drink at the amazing alcohol-free bar, and then come back for the second sitting. And then that's it. Although we are here at the end, if anyone fancies a chat, or if you've got any questions, or we have actually got some t-shirts to give
I was just going to say, John, can people queue up at the end for an autograph and a chat?
Lol.
Yeah. But you'll be around, yeah.
Yeah, we signed a t-shirt once, so yeah. And there are some DVDs I forgot to mention if people want to take one to a loved one or something, or watch it again.
Fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of all the partners who've made this a very special event, I need to say a big thank you to two friends of mine, Pete Atkinson and Jane Edge, because they've put so much work. So a little round of applause for them anyway, because they've made all this happen totally free of charge this evening. So without much more further ado, about 3 minutes time, folks, we present you a big round of applause for John, Dear Albert. Thank you for joining us down here this evening.